Today's conversation is an extra special treat. It's a pretty amazing day. We're talking to a globally known sports star. We're going to talk about the legendary dinner parties he hosted with big names, big wine, big food. We're going to talk about his experience with a legendary French winemaking team, with the legend that is Michel Ribier, with Chateau La Mascaronne. We're talking about the world-class rosé he's releasing and how it's changing the entire industry. If you haven't tasted it yet, my gosh, you're going to want some today. It's amazing. So who is it? We're talking with former NBA star, San Antonio Spur, Tony Parker. So with that, let's jump into today's conversation with Tony Parker. Tony, very nice to meet you. Thank you for the call. Our audience is foodies, it's wine lovers, it's travelers, and so if it's okay, just a few questions about food and wine for you. So obviously, in the past few years here, you've been diving into the winemaking with Michel Ribier and his team. Can you talk a little bit about the adventure, any surprises or lessons that you've been learning on this journey?
Thank you. It's been amazing. I always wanted to invest in a project like that. Since I first tried wine when I was 17 years old, I wanted to keep learning about it and get my knowledge better around the wine world. And so when I was 19, finally I made enough money to afford all those great wines. I was lucky enough to play for a coach who loved wine, had a huge collection, was reading wine magazines every trip. And so that's how we bonded, and so as I got better, in my knowledge in wine, I started to invite, all the best castles in San Antonio. I will invite them to come to do a nice dinner at my house with Coach Bob, and then the next day we'll invite them to a first game. And then during the summer, I started making trips, to the vineyard. Try to know them better, and because in the wine world, obviously you have great families, they're super passionate, and that's how I started. Working on my allocation and make sure I have the good bottles, reserved, and that's how I started. And when I retired, I wanted to be more involved, but it's very hard to invest in the wine business because it's either in families for generation and generation, or you have those big companies like LVMH or Pernod Ricard, they buy everything. And so I was very lucky through mutual friends, I met Mr. Ribier, and after 6-8 months, we decided to become partners, and now I'm a proud owner / ambassador / everything.
You mentioned the wine dinners you had in San Antonio. Just for us massive foodies, can you help us fantasize for a moment? What kind of food was served? What kind of wines were poured? Can you take us back to those nights?
So basically, I had a private chef. So my private chef will work with the vineyard. So let's say 1 year we had Chateau Petrus. He will call the main guy in Chateau Petrus. They will tell us who's coming, number 1, number 2, number 3, how many people is coming. Will send us the bottles and tell us what year they will send us, and then they will work with my chef to make sure we make a menu accordingly to make sure that everything matched with what we're drinking. And so Petrus, when they came to my house, they brought we tried 69, 82, 2000, and I think 2009. I think it was unbelievable. Like all those bottles, great vintages. And for me, I'm very lucky too because I'm born in '82, and it's one of the best years, for wine, especially in Bordeaux. And so every time I visit a castle in Bordeaux, the employees they always super happy because it's a good opportunity for them to ask the owner, let's open in '82, and most of the time, they'll come say thank you to me. Say yes, my first time trying an '82, because now they don't open those '82s a lot,
So you've hinted at your sports background, obviously. You have become a master. And I guess my question would be, is there any lesson that you mastered in sports that you've brought into the wine world with you?
No, just a passion and a work ethic. Obviously in the wine world, I will never like try to like be and talk like a sommelier. They do studies for that, and even if I have a good knowledge, and obviously I've been working with vineyards and I'm learning all the time, especially since I've been owning a vineyard. I did the harvest. I did the assemblage, when you try all the parcels, and you decide what the wine is going to be. And I've been working with the great directors. Our director at Cost is unbelievable. The director at La Mascaronne is great too. And so for me, it's been great knowledge, and great learning process to learn even more about wine.
So clearly, when you did retire, you had many opportunities in front of you. What inspired you to choose to partner with Chateau La Mascaronne?
So basically, when I met him, I knew he was huge in the wine business. And obviously, it brings a lot of credibility when you work with somebody like Chateau because he's been in this world for so long. And he's the owner of one of the best wine in the world, which is Cos d'Estournel. When I say Cos, it's Cos d'Estournel. And so Cos, basically, that's how I knew him. And I was like, wow, that's big time. And so when he talked about the La Mascaronne, he bought it from Tom Bove. And back in '06, when I started going, on vacation every summer, I started drinking rosé, with my brothers and my friends. We love rosé, like in the summers. And so that's why Miraval took off, with Brad Pitt when he bought it with Angelina. And so he bought Miraval from Tom Bove. And so that's why I was like, man, if Tom Bove kept that property perfect with the Miraval, for sure, La Mascaronne, it's just a matter of time before we can do something amazing.
What's next for you as far in the wine world goes? What can we be looking for the rest of 2023 or 24? Anything you can tease about the future?
Oh, just that our premium rosé just came out, like on reserve, from the Mascaronne, made 3,000 bottles. Every rosé now, you have your rosé, and we're working on premiums ones. I think that's where it's going now with rosé, as all those big companies and all that knowledge that they get from the red wine is coming into the rosé world. The rosé is going to get better and better.
A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to taste it. The flavor was incredible, and the craftsmanship behind it was incredible. So congratulations on an amazing bottle.
Thank you. Thank you.
The last question I would love to ask, is there any message that you don't get asked about enough that you'd love to share with an audience?
It'd be like for all those people that if one day they want to invest in wine, just dream big, and don't put any limits, into it.
That's beautiful. Well, I know you're a busy person. I really appreciate a few minutes of your time and just connecting over wine. I appreciate it. And
Thanks for having me.
to learn more about Tony Parker and the rosé from Chateau La Mascaronne, website is chateau-lamascaronne.com. We'll have a link to that in the show notes. Follow La Mascaronne on Instagram. On Instagram, it's La Mascaronne. On Facebook, it's just Mascaronne. And obviously follow Tony on Instagram at _TonyParker09. Big thank you to Tony Parker. Tony, thank you for the conversation. I appreciate it. Big thank you to his amazing team for facilitating the conversation. I'd like to thank our team for building this episode. And of course, I'd like to thank you for listening. Thanks so much. See you next time.